Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, is the worst Friday the 13th movie that I have seen yet.
You need to leave!
Mostly everything about this entry into the series is so forgettable, so bad, and honestly just embarrassing after a pretty good movie with Part 6. I was saying in my last video that Part 6 was my new favorite, and it really was. I really believed that they found the series with that movie. And of course Part 4 is a great combination with Part 6. Obviously Part 5 is in the mix, but we can kind of forget about that one.
No, not you.
But Part 7 is just so fucking trash that I never want to have to watch this movie again. It's not even that Jason Lives is the best horror movie ever or anything, or that it's a masterpiece, but compared to The New Blood, Jason Lives is the Godfather. And if you like this movie, or if this one's your favorite, why? There is one good thing about The New Blood, and it's the obvious answer. It's Kane Hodder as Jason Voorhees, because shit, Kane Hodder as Jason Voorhees is fantastic. His portrayal that he brings, the stunts, the action, the kills, fucking chef's kiss on that bitch.
This guy fucks, am I right?
So I've been watching all the Friday the 13th movies for our first slasher summer. Most of them have been 4 and 6 with 5 is really what I think Friday the 13th should be. It has a good little decent storyline with Tommy. Jason's are pretty good overall, and the characters are more interesting. I think the kills are amped up in those films. So of course after 6 they have to go a new direction. Tommy's storyline is pretty much wrapped up, and it was a good ending. He killed Jason. Obviously he didn't kill Jason. Jason was alive at the end of that film. Show him opening his eyes, which of course that's going to happen. So when I saw the next one was called The New Blood, I knew we were getting a new beginning again. But the whole flow of this franchise is so fucked. I mean, 4 starts off with little Tommy as Corey Feldman, introduces the character.
And what do you do?
I do a lot of things. I'm omniversal.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Then we get 5 as Tommy's a teenager, and he's just not that good. And then we get 6, which wraps up his storyline, and it's great. But we get 7, it's a new start, a new beginning, the new blood, whatever the fuck you want to call this thing, and it's just bad. Characters in this movie are such a joke. The lead, Tina, is an awful character, and they mix in this telekinetic plotline with her, which honestly could have worked. I'm not opposed to her being a superhero of some sorts, but the way they execute it and the way they implement it into the film is just a joke. I mean, it's just so funny. There's so many scenes with her going, and then shit starts flying around, moving around. It just feels like they didn't know what to do with this movie. They had kick-ass Jason and Kane Hodder, and the MPAA fucked them with a lot of the kills, but I honestly think the kills are pretty decent, the ones that we do see at least. They just didn't know where the story was going. They tried to implement this telekinetic thing like I just said 10 seconds ago, and it just falls flat on its fucking face. Anyways, the film kicks off with a young Tina witnessing some serious domestic abuse in her house, and she decides to run off to the little boat that she has. It's parked next to a dock. She runs out and her father comes chasing right after her. Her father's going to be important. You're not really going to think he is, but he's going to be very important. I guess the whole story stems from his domestic abuse and what she did to him in this moment. So he's on this dock. She's sitting there like, I fucking hate you. You're a fucking piece of shit. And yeah, he is a piece of shit. She destroys the dock with her mind and kills him. You don't know this at first, I guess, but it's what happens. And then we witness her as a teenager, maybe young 20s, heading back to that same house, trying to get past all the trauma that she witnessed and experienced as a kid. She's accompanied by her mother, Amanda. When she gets back to her old stomping grounds, she meets up with her psychiatrist, Dr. Cruz. And this guy is the biggest gaslighter I have ever seen on screen.
You're more interested in this telekinetic stuff than you are in me.
That is not true, Tina. The only reason that I'm here is to help you overcome the guilt that you have about your father's death. That's all.
That's bullshit!
This guy is just a fuck. I mean, he is just verbally assaulting her the whole entire film, just trying to exploit her powers, trying to get her to freak out so he can see what she can do. So Amanda is talking to Dr. Cruz, like, can you really fix her? Can you really get this done? And he's like, yeah, sure. Why not? I'm a great doctor. I can fucking do it for you. Yeah, no shot, buddy. And conveniently, right next door, there's a group of teens or 20-year-olds just in the cabin awaiting a surprise birthday party for this guy named Michael. You got this guy named Nick who helps Tina out right away when she drops her luggage, and Tina's like, I don't need help. And he's like, no, it's okay. She's like, really? I don't. He's like, hey, fuck it. I'm gonna help you out. And then he picks up her underwear and she's like, yeah, real great help.
Great asshole.
We also got Melissa laying around just enjoying the sun. She's just the character who you think she's going to be. Tina and Dr. Cruz are running some experiments. You know, he's testing her, trying to see if he can really exploit these powers, which makes her eventually freak out and burn this book of matches that's laying on the table. We then cut to Russell and Sandra totally boning in a van, and Russell's like, hey, why the hell are we boning in a van when my uncle owns the cabin? Tina then starts crying about her father and the thing that she did to him in the past, which makes her run to the dock, the same place where her father originally died. She accidentally resurrects Jason from the lake by doing this. Good going, Tina. You just fucked everyone.
Fetch me their souls.
But like I said, Jason looks awesome in this movie. He's skeleton Jason. His ribs are exposed, pieces of his face are missing. Kane Hodder as Jason was really fucking sweet, and he comes out of the lake charging. Tina then faints. When she wakes up, she's laying on the couch with her mother and Dr. Cruz standing beside her. Dr. Cruz goes back to what he knows best and gaslights her. Tina says she saw someone come out of the lake, and Dr. Cruz is just like, oh, you think you saw your father, but it's not real.
Your mind is manufacturing his hallucinations because...
It wasn't a hallucination.
Yes, it was.
And then we meet Michael and Jane with a broken down car on the side of the road. They're trying to get to the cabin for this party that Michael doesn't know about, but she spoils the fun and tells him that they're going to be throwing him a surprise party. Yay. He's like, hey, shit, I want to get there. Let's just take the woods. She's like, no fucking chance, dude. But he's like, hey,
Woods is woods.
Nick then comes over to invite Tina to a party that's going to be going on. We then cut back to Michael and Jane walking through the woods. And Jane was right, because Jason is out and he wants to fuck up some teenagers. Walking through the woods, Jason gets Jane first with a really cool kill with a knife to the throat. Then he gets Michael by piercing him in the back.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, my neck. My back.
At the party, we meet the rest of the characters. We have Ben and Kate, some wannabe science fiction writer named Eddie, Stoner David, in which Robin and Maddie are just enthralled with, and they both want to bang him. And of course, the others that I already mentioned. At the party, everyone's having a good time. They're drinking, smoking, just doing what you do in a Friday the 13th movie. And Melissa really doesn't want Tina to be there. Well, Tina totally embarrasses herself when she drops a Coke, but she drops the Coke because she actually has seen Michael being killed by Jason. Her superpowers are nuts. She can see things that already happened or are going to happen. Fucking Nick Fury should call her ass for the Avengers at this point. She runs back to her house where Dr. Cruz just gaslights Tina even more, saying, look, there's nothing here. Nothing happened. You're a fucking psycho. And it's nuts. I mean, Dr. Cruz is the worst psychiatrist doctor that I have ever seen. We cut to Jason just wandering the woods, stalking people, and there's some really cool kills here, especially the sleeping bag kill. The next morning, Nick and Tina have a little heart-to-heart. Nick tells her his life story, saying he got kicked out of his father's house in Pittsburgh and that he's taking night classes now. Tina's like, you don't want to mess around with a girl like me. You're trying to get your life together. And he's like, I want you to ruin my life. And they totally make out. And at this point in the movie, I was feeling extremely bored. I can't lie. I mean, the kills were cool and Jason was cool, but the story was so fucking dog shit that I really wanted to turn it off, but I didn't. Of course I didn't, because, hey, we got to get through slasher summer, and it's already September. Holy shit, I'm not going to get done by the end of summer, am I? Anyways, we get some dialogue between Robin and Maddie. They both want to bang David, like I said. And Robin says to Maddie, you need some work. You need some touch-up. He's definitely not your type, and you could never have a chance with him.
You're not his type. You need a little touch-up work first.
If you know how I feel, why would you say that?
Some more gaslighting goes down with Dr. Cruz, and Tina really starts showing how strong her powers can really be. Russell and Sandra decide to go skinny dipping, where both of them meet their end. Russell gets an axe to the face, and Sandra gets pulled under the water by Jason. So essentially, Melissa is really just trying to get with Nick, but Nick's not feeling her, and he says to her,
Melissa, I don't even like you.
she tries to play coy, she tries to get with Eddie here, and he's all for it. She's just playing the fuck out of the guy. But the other teens are doing stuff too. I mean, some of them working on the relationships, some of them are just kind of fucking off. Mrs. Shepard, Amanda, figures out that Dr. Cruz is a total phony, a total fake, just trying to get some scientific research off of Tina as she starts digging around in her desk. This makes Dr. Cruz really mad, and he's like, hey, I'll commit your daughter even without your discretion. I'll just do it because I can. That's the power of being a doctor, motherfucker. Well, Tina's driving around, she got out of the house again, freaking out. She's trying to leave, and she starts seeing more visions. She's tripping out. She sees Jason killing people, and she totally crashes the car. Yeah, good going, Tina. And I've said this so many times about these movies, but you need great car insurance in these films. In this universe, the Friday the 13th universe, you just need great car insurance because your car is going to break down, it's not going to start, or you might just crash it out of nowhere. So as Nick goes to find Tina, the teens start getting killed off one by one. It's pretty good. A lot of them are off screen at this point. There kind of is a transition halfway through the film where we don't see so many of the kills. I mean, we still see some of them, but a lot of them are off screen. And I think that's just the MPAA saying,
Fuck you, Friday the 13th.
Which is total bullshit. So Eddie figures out that Melissa is playing his ass. She's just like, I just was waiting for Nick to come in, be like, hey, I want you now. More of the characters start getting killed off again as Nick and Tina make their way back to the house. This all leads up to Amanda and Dr. Cruz in the woods. Dr. Cruz is like, Tina was right, but it's too late as Jason is out stalking the perimeter. He sees them out there and totally kills Amanda. Dr. Cruz is holding her as a human shield. I mean, the guy's a piece of shit, but geez, I didn't know he was that much of a piece of shit. And then we get Jason totally murdering Dr. Cruz with a pole saw. The best part about the film, arguably, I mean, Dr. Cruz had to die, and he gets it pretty good. Dope-ass weapon that Jason's got. They really give Jason some cool weapons in these films, and I think that pole saw is one of them. I mean, you can envision him with the axe, or the machete, or a hammer of some sorts. The final leg of this movie is ridiculous. Tina is using her powers to full strength, or as much as she can muster, and it just keeps going back and forth. This leads them back into the house. There's a cool stairway scene where Kane Hodder shows off his stunt background and how good of a stuntsman he really is. I mean, he takes some falls in this thing, but it's just so dumb. I mean, they keep going back and forth. Jason keeps getting back up. They keep fighting him. So Tina eventually gets Jason into the basement underneath the floorboards where they have their final fight. It's pretty good. Jason has the mask off at this point. Like I said in the beginning, he looks totally badass. The makeup, the artwork, everything about him is just so fucking cool. But Tina controlling shit with her mind because she's telekinetic, and she's able to get gasoline all over Jason, set him on fire, and get out of the house as it explodes.
We bring a boom! That's what we do!
Well, we think Jason's dead. Nick comes to the rescue, picks up Tina, but then Jason's right there again. But Tina's able to resurrect her dad from the dead, and he comes out from the water and chokes Jason to death. Holy shit. I don't know what the screenwriters were on or what they were thinking about this ending. I mean, clearly they kind of had a beginning and they had the end that they wanted, but the middle section and everything in between is just forgettable. This ending is, I guess, not forgettable. It's bad, but I mean, I'll remember this because it's random as shit. The dad comes out of the water and just kills Jason. The paramedics are there the next morning. They pick up Tina and Nick and they get out to safety. The movie ends. No Jason being alive. This should be the last one, right? Yeah, no way. I know there's more. As I was saying about the telekinetic plot line and everything about it, I don't think it's necessarily the worst idea, but I think we need more movies before this one to really build Tina's character up. You can't just throw her into the mix and expect us to care about her, expect us to, understand all of her powers and just be okay with that. I think it needs to be a gradual build, maybe like a trilogy of some sorts, kind of like how Tommy had. But the way it's presented in this movie, the way that they do it is just random, and I guess it's a different approach to the movies that we've seen, but I didn't like it. This movie is a solid 2.5 out of 10. And next up, we got Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Everything that I have heard about that movie is not good. I really don't know how you get much worse than The New Blood, but I guess we'll see. My expectations for the rest of these films are so low. I really don't know if they can get better than Part 6 or Part 4. I thought they could maybe with 7 before I saw it, but they didn't. With Slasher Summer, if we don't get through the end of the summer, that's alright. We'll bring this baby into fall and finish it there. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing to the channel for more horror content. I appreciate your guys' love and appreciation for all the videos that I've posted before and all the Slasher Summers. I've really been having a great time with these Friday the 13th movies overall, even if I don't enjoy them. But other than that, I really don't have much else.
Oh, hell no, I'm out of here.